Fa-jing. This is one of my online lessons trying to explain to you about Fa-jing. What a diverse subject. All I can really do here is to give you an introduction to Fa-jing. Impossible to teach it, of course. It's almost impossible to even teach it on one of my videos, but I do try on two of my videos, MTG34 and MTG67. And that's about the closest you'll get without having me there showing you. A lot of people think they know Fa-jing, but when you see them do it, it's just not Fa-jing. You cannot do Fa-jing unless you're doing an internal style of martial art. It just does not work with a physical, hard style martial art. You can't do it. It's too stiff. Your body must be in a sung state, that is, loose and relaxed, like a rag doll, as many people have said. There are physical attributes to Fa-jing, of course, the way you hold your body, the way you turn your fist, what you do with your feet, that's all a part of it. But the main thing in Fa-jing is what your mind's doing, or rather what your mind is not doing. Fa-jing must become reflex. You must change something that's foreign to you into a reflex action. Mind you, when you're first born, Fa-jing is not foreign. Little babies already have Fa-jing. Dogs have Fa-jing for the whole of their lives. We lose it somewhere after about 5 years of age for some reason. We become too human and we lose our Fa-jing. In other words, we lose our reptilian brain part. So we have to get that back, and we get that back by going to Sung, and I've got an online lesson covering Sung, I think, somewhere on this site. Anyway, so you must practice a lot of things. You must practice Qigong. You must practice an internal style of martial arts, such as Taiji or Bagua. You must have the correct mindset. It's an explosive thing, and it must happen instantly to whatever your opponent is doing to you. You must be able to release Fa-jing here. You must be able to release it here. Of course, you can't release Fa-jing out here against the opponent because you'd miss him. Fa-jing is a realistic way of self-defense, or an aspect of self-defense, which must be released on the opponent right here. The beauty of Fa-jing is that you never have to draw your fist back here, as in some of the karate systems, taekwondo. You don't have to draw your fist way back here and shoot. This is like saying to your opponent, get ready, I'm going to hit you. You want to hit them from there. That's where you want to hit someone, from there. Because a person, especially a good grappler, they can be on you within that period of time. As you blink, they can be moved in on you. And you have to be able to hit them from here with great power. Right? For instance, if Eli's attacked me here and he's grappling me, if I then draw my fist back, in the time it takes me to draw my fist back, he's taking me to the ground, he's got a sleeper hold on me, and it's all done. I must be able to hit him from here and knock him out. And that's what Fa-jing's all about. It's called, Fa-jing literally means explosive energy. It's the whole body attacking your opponent, rather than just, as in karate, having your arm. Now that is just arm power. This is shoulder and arm power. Now I can feel a huge jolt going up my arm because this is a fairly hardish object, and that shouldn't happen. You're going to damage yourself. You have to build up big muscles to hold all your bones and your sinews in place when you're using that sort of a punch. That's purely muscular force using only one or two parts of my body. Even if I do this with my waist, still not Fa-jing. And that's how the karate people tend to do it. It's not Fa-jing because it's two movements. It must be the whole body exploding, pa, at the same instant. That's what Fa-jing's all about. It's like one of the closest things that an analogy for Fa-jing is a sneeze. When you sneeze, you can't even keep your eyes open, can you? And the whole body shakes. You don't sneeze like a chew, do you? It's pa-chew. Your whole body does the sneeze. And that's exactly what Fa-jing is all about. The whole body will do the attack rather than just the fist or the arm muscles throughout your arm. In fact, your arm muscles are loose when you attack the object. The only thing that becomes a little tense is right at the end of the Fa-jing, right at the explosion. It's exactly the same as a whip. It starts out with big energy and right at the end. The whip is very loose, very soft. You can take the rope like that. But right at the end, right on the tip, it's very powerful and it's tense for that split second. And that's the same as when we do the Fa-jing punch, for instance. The arm, this is loose, the triceps are loose, your biceps are loose, your forearms are loose. Everything's loose because it's the waist that's throwing your arm out. It's not that was my triceps. That's triceps power. This, that's waist power or whole body explosive energy power. You'll see how it's fairly soft. The arm's soft. And the only time there's a small amount of tension is when the fist actually makes contact with the object. Now look at my fist. See how the fist is? That's called a taiji fist. You must never do this. That's blocking energy. That'll turn it right back into a karate type of punch. The thumb is there, fingers are loose, and it snaps closed for the split second, and then it's loose again. So only as it makes contact, and then it's loose. It looks like you haven't closed your fist at all. This is yin, this is yang, because it's slightly tense, the thumb here. But that's the way you must be able to get it, see? On that very instant that you punch. And it takes a bit of training to get that. So when you're hitting the object, see how the fist is loose? This is just getting into some of the physical aspect of Fa-jing now, so I won't be doing full Fa-jing here from a body Fa-jing rather, or real Fa-jing, because I'm just explaining about how to do it. This is how you're going to punch with a Fa-jing punch. It can happen with a punch this way, or it can happen, this is the real Fa-jing punch. See how it twists, the fist turns over at the end. That's a taiji snap punch. And it sends a shock wave. See how it's going like this? You're using these three knuckles here. You're not using these two knuckles as in karate. You're using these three knuckles only. And it either goes this way into the object. See that? See how the wrist is going? Or it'll go this way into the object. So thus using these three knuckles are much stronger than those two put together. So the force is spread out over three rather than two. Like so. But of course you mustn't just hit too much and you'll break that little knuckle there. But that's how the fist moves when you do a Fa-jing punch. So punching to the face, for instance, from here, the whole body. You watch. I'll just see if you can see. I'll just do it on the mitt just so that you can see how it's going. You can hold your hand only a couple of inches from it. And as long as your whole body does Fa-jing, you'll get... Don't hold your arm so stiff because your neck's going to... You'll get a creaked neck. Just hold your arms loose so that if you hold it stiff as you did then, see how your neck went like that? I don't want you to hurt your neck, all right? So that's what, you get a much better idea of this if you're using a hard handheld mitt, but I must explain this. This is a drum seat. It's got Dixon written on it. So because I've sent all of my mitts overseas in our upcoming move to the UK, I've sent all my mitts and punching stuff over, so we've only got a drum seat left to use here, sorry. So, here it is here, look, just a few inches away. Now that's the total body movement that you must get for Fa-jing. From that much distance you must be able to get that much power to knock the person out or even kill them if you're punching into a vital point such as stomach 9, temple, etc. CV22, etc. It's very hard to get the concept because you've got to turn your waist contrary to what you probably already understand. Because most people will say, oh, yeah, I'm going to get the power, thinking it's purely physical power, by turning my weight and a big shoulder push. You see them in the football field, they turn their shoulder into it, but that's not power. That's not power. You've got to turn your waist back the opposite direction to which you would normally think that you would have to. So just watch, I'll just do it again. Just watch how the finishing posture of my body, just see the alignment of the hips to the shoulders, to the rear foot, to the front foot, to the arms, etc. So from here, now you notice my waist, my hips are turned square on to my opponent. Look at my left heel. See how the toe has naturally, the heel has naturally come off the ground. I didn't do it. That just happened because of the natural explosiveness of the body. And my other hand is making use of that whole body Fa-jing ready for a re-attack. And that's the whole idea about Fa-jing. You strike so that in the split second instant that you've struck, your body has now reloaded, ready for a second Fa-jing strike. And that it's like an automatic gun as opposed to one that you have to reload all the time. For instance, hardstyle martial arts, you have to keep reloading. You have to reload all the time. But in internal martial arts, it's automatic. As soon as you're struck, the natural positioning of the body, the explosiveness of the body, naturally makes your body reload for re-attack. So you keep going until it's finished. Someone wrote me an email the other day saying, how do I get the stamina for fighting? And I said to him, you don't need stamina. The fight's finished in 2 or 3 or 4 seconds when using an internal martial art. Just attack there, Eli. Just put that down for a second. So rather than doing this, he attacks. Yay! I attack. He's going to block that. What? And he's going to attack. And we keep going. We keep whoa, 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 whoa. We keep fighting. That's crap. Just attack there, Eli. That's Fa-jing. Finished. I don't know how many strikes to various points there. My first strike here was to stomach 9. He's knocked out already. But then I come in with an elbow to CV22. He's dead. Then I came in with another strike under here to small intestine 17. Then I finished with a strike up under his nose. A tiger paw strike. So that's 4 or 5 deadly strikes in a split second. And that's what the Fa-jing is. Thanks, Eli. That's what Fa-jing is all about. You've got to be loose. You've got to get the looseness. And to get the looseness, you've simply got to do the training. You've got to learn an internal martial art. At this period of time, it's end of August 2003, I have some 248 video titles teaching about all this stuff. You have to simply learn the system, starting from scratch. And that will give you the looseness. That someone, again, wrote to me the other day in an email, said, how do I get the looseness? I said, well, have you got 5 years? You just do the system. That's all you do. You must get this to the point where you can hold your fingers on the mitt and then still do Fa-jing without having to draw your hand back first. So from here you can still get, it won't be as powerful as just here, of course, but this is just the training method to see how your Fa-jing's going. Now most people when they get to here, they put their fingers and say, God, how am I going to, they're going like this, like this, like this, because they're still using physical force. Using the Fa-jing, you can just put your fingers on there like that, and you can still get a tremendously powerful shot, even with your fingers touching the thing and then coming in. Notice what the hand's doing. This is the very first thing I tell people to do. Simply rotate the hand over and close it. But try and make a noise when you do it. So this is not Fa-jing. This is just using the arm and the shoulders and trying to get... I don't know if you can hear that. I'll be very quiet and see if you can hear that. The sound of one hand clapping, it's called. Do you hear that sound? Okay, I think you can hear that. Now even that for most people is very difficult because the hand has to be totally loose. If you have any tension in your hand, because I'm trying, see, this is the difference. Most people will when I tell people to do this, what they'll try to do is to close their hand. I don't want you to close your hand. I want you to make your body close the hand. See, so the hand's very loose, and it's the action of the body. See this, look. The hand will naturally... See, look, if I hold my hand like that, and I turn it over, look what happens. See how the hand closed naturally? However, if I do that really fast, of course, what's going to happen is the fingers are going to close fully because they're stopping the motion, that fast motion. So if I do it fast, see, I didn't close my hand. The movement closed my hand. And it closed it so quickly that I get a noise made with the fingers clapping in on the back of my palm. So that's the difference. Most people try and say, oh, he's closing his hand. Okay, I'll close my hand. I'm grabbing something. I'll close my hand. Wrong. Loosen it up and make the body close your hand. Now if you put the whole body and Fa-jing behind that now, you're going to get a tremendously powerful explosive energy coming out of your palm. The power starts in the feet, the bubbling well point, which is kidney 1, just here. It moves up through stemmed through the legs. It's directed by the waist. Now the waist is the most important thing. It's like throwing shit into a fan. You know, you can throw it very slowly, lob it into the fan, hits the fan, and it explodes everywhere, doesn't it? You get shit everywhere. And that's what we're looking for. The power's coming up. As soon as it gets to the waist, that's the fan. The fan, throws it out through your hand. But only if you've got sung and only if you're relaxed. So that's the physicalness of the palm. The physicalness of the waist is a little harder to get. And the foot thing, well, that should just happen. You'll notice when I punch the thing, I'll just do it slowly here. See my left foot. You notice how it ended up. That's because my body, my body caused it to do that. So your hips have to turn to the left it's like a spring pulling your arm out. Your hips turn violently to the left, and that tends to leave your hand behind for a split second. And just as you're going to turn your hand over, exactly what we did just then, and make contact, your hips are going to hook back the other way, see, thus pushing my left heel out. And then they just center back to the front. So you're getting a Fa-jing shake has 3 turns, left, right, or right, left, right, depending on what you're doing. So I'm going left, right as I make contact, and then just a tiny one left, back to the front again. That's how I end up in that position. A good thing to do is touch your partner on the shoulder. So they're holding a mitt over here like this. I won't do it hard. So you hit the mitt, and then that will get your hips turning back the other way. You see, you have to. Boom, boom. And then try and get that as close to that as possible, and that will then turn your hips back the other way, see? That's a good training method to get that happening. So here are the hips. They turn left, right, and then just slightly back to the front again. And then you've already struck with this hand, you see. So that's your follow-up from that one. So if you can, that's just a brief, thank you, Eli. That's just a brief introduction to Fa-jing. It's a very difficult subject to teach, let alone on an online lesson. Thank you very much.